For 2011. The Dayton Flyers won the NIT last year. This year, UD hopes its postseason path is labeled NCAA. The new year for New Mexico could mean a third straight Mountain West regular season title. The 2011 debut for both has arrived.
One of the best places for basketball in America. Great place to kick off college basketball on the CBS College Sports Network, presented by 5 Hour Energy for 2011. Dayton and New Mexico here from Ohio. Hi there and Happy New Year, everybody. Jason Knapp alongside the former captain and Xavier Steve Wolf. Steve, we've got two teams that are very much alike. Both are very deep, very athletic. Two differences for Dayton, though. One, the Flyers get to play in front of this great home crowd here at UD Arena. And two, they have the services of Chris Wright.
You definitely have a home court advantage here with this crowd, but when you have Chris Wright on your team, you have a home court advantage. This is a guy that had a chance to go to the NBA, Jason, decided to stay and let Coach Gregory help him to the next level. He has improved in all areas of his game, especially his mid-range jump shot. He has become a leader of this UD Flyers team, and he's a guy that New Mexico has to stop.
Leading the Flyers in points and rebounds. Well, New Mexico, Steve, comes in rolling at 11-2. Won on the road at Texas Tech the other night, and in that game, like he's done a lot this year, Philip McDonald proving to be a key performer.
You know what? He was hurt early in the year, and he was very passive early in his career, but he has taken over a leadership role. He knocked down 2 big threes against Texas Tech and brought home the victory in Lubbock. This is a guy that's athletic and matches up against UD.
The Lobos and Flyers do have experience ringing in the new year against each other. New Year's Day last year, New Mexico won at home by 2. Now ready to do it again in Dayton. Lineups and tip coming up. This is CBS College Sports Network basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy.
The new year is here in Dayton, and two teams with big postseason dreams making their New Year's resolutions for 2011. The Dayton Flyers won the NIT last year. This year, UD hopes its postseason path is The new year is here in Dayton, and two teams with big postseason dreams making their New Year's resolutions for 2011. The Dayton Flyers won the NIT last year. This year, UD hopes its postseason path is labeled NCAA. The new year for New Mexico could mean a third straight Mountain West regular season title. The 2011 debut for both has arrived.
Basketball in America. Great place to kick off college basketball on the CBS College Sports Network, presented by 5 Hour Energy for 2011. Dayton and New Mexico. Mexico here from Ohio. Hi there and Happy New Year, everybody. Jason Knapp alongside the former captain at Xavier, Steve Wolf. Steve, we've got two teams that are very much alike. Both are very deep, very athletic. Two differences for Dayton, though. One, the Flyers get to play in front of this great home crowd here at UD Arena. And two, they have the services of Chris Wright.
You definitely have a home court advantage here with this crowd, but when you have Chris Wright on your team, you have a home court advantage. This is a guy that had a chance to go to the NBA, Jason, decided to stay and let Coach Gregory help him to the next level. He has improved in all areas of his game, especially his mid-range jump shot. He has become a leader of this UD Flyers team, and he's a guy that New Mexico has to stop.
Leading the Flyers in points and rebounds. Well, New Mexico, Steve, comes in rolling at 11-2. Won on the road at Texas Tech the other night, and in that game, like he's done a lot this year, Philip McDonald proving to be a key performer.
You know what? He was hurt early in the year, and he was very passive early in his career, but he has taken over a leadership role. He knocked down 2 big threes against Texas Tech and brought home the victory in Lubbock. This is a guy that's athletic and matches up against UD.
The Lobos and Flyers do have experience ringing in the new year against each other. New Year's Day last year, New Mexico won at home by 2. Now ready to do it again in Dayton. Lineups and tip coming up. This is CBS College Sports Network basketball presented by 5 Hour Energy.
Junior from Detroit, Michigan, number 22, Paul Williams. At forward, a 6'6" junior from Columbus, Ohio, number 4, Chris Johnson. At forward, a 6'10" senior from Romulus, Michigan, number 34, Devin. Senior from Trotwood, Ohio, number 33, Chris Wright. Head coach for Dayton Flyers, Brian Gregory. Associate head coach
Test 1 2, test 1 2,
assistant
test 1
coaches
2,
John
test 1
Williams
2.
and Cornell Mann, and director of basketball operations, Matt Farrell.
Here at Dayton, the fans ready to roll on New Year's Day. The red and blue proudly ready to challenge New Mexico. Steve Alford, Brian Gregory, a couple of coaches with Big Ten backgrounds. Gregory, longtime assistant at Michigan State. Alford, great player at Indiana and head coach at Iowa before landing and leading this New Mexico team to some great results in recent years. Starting lineups for both. Doris Gary, 111th straight start today. That's the longest active streak in the nation for New Mexico. And UD, Juwan Staten has been electric, starting every game so far at point for UD. Let's look at today's LG team strategy. Steve, what's it going to take for these teams to come up with a victory today?
Lobos got to get back on defense, and they have to rebound the basketball.
Ready to go here from Dayton. And look at team strategy by LG for Dayton, Steve.
Yeah, it's the same thing. They both have to play good defense, and they have to board the basketball. The team that wins the rebounding will win this game.
Today's game between the New Mexico Lobos and the Dayton Flyers is presented to you by 5 Hour Energy. We are set to go. DJ Karstensen tossing it into the air, and the tip controlled by Dayton Flyers in the white with a red and blue trim here at home. New Mexico in the red, and Paul Williams with control. Both of these teams victorious last time out. New Mexico, as we mentioned, winning by 1 Wednesday at Texas Tech. Dayton beat a tough George Mason squad, 73-67 inside. Flyers can't convert, and here come the Lobos, led by Kendall Williams, their talented freshman guard. Alex Kirk, another first-year performer for the Lobos. Entry pass, Gary turns and scores.
Gary, a guard, a point guard at that, able to post up. He is a bulldog in the lane.
He will get to the line a lot. Last year, 18 points against Dayton, 12 of 15 from the free throw line. Paul Williams with a drive, rims out for Dayton, and the rebound down to the 6'11 freshman Kirk.
Williams now guarding Gary, so we'll see if they get any help on the weak side.
Gary right to the hole, and Wright stopped him in his tracks. And no secret what Darius Gary is going to do, and that is attack the rim.
But you watch this. Gary gets around Williams, but you get the weak side help. The eraser right there, Chris Wright coming over from the weak side.
Entry pass off the restart to Kirk. That one knocked away as well, and the Flyer interior defense showing up here from the outset. Jumper, Chris Johnson, no. Wright skying for the rebound. And a first 35 here for the Flyers.
Talking about an early impact. Chris Wright with 2 big defensive stops and then an offensive rebound.
Yeah, this Flyer team leads the Atlantic 10 in rebounds so far this year. And a foul on the floor against New Mexico. How about the Geico difference makers for this one, Steve?
Well, you have to look at Darius Gary. We've talked about him. He's a bulldog getting to the paint, leads the team in assists and points. And then Chris Johnson, who's been playing awesome. He's got a little bit of a nagging groin injury, but he has been the key the last 5 games for the Flyers.
Also been fantastic from the free throw line this year. 38 of 42, over 90%. We'll see if that's a factor at the end of this game. Staten, long jumper, and a foul against Dayton on the inside.
That is a problem right now. Early on for a young point guard, that is not really the shot you want. You want to try to work it inside. You're getting good shots from Johnson and from Wright and from Williams in the paint. They just haven't gone down yet. Stay with your game plan.
Foul there on Searcy. That's his first, 6'10 senior out of Romulus, Michigan. Dumped inside, A.J. Hardiman. No, Kirk, yes on the follow.
Big fella, just a weak side rebound. You have to box out.
Out of Los Alamos High School in New Mexico, has been a great pleasure for the Lobo fans at the outset. Both of these teams like to push. Lobos will. Hardiman fouled on the way. And that's Johnson with a foul. And track Johnson as he walks away. Steve touched on it before. Has been bothered by a groin injury and now doubling over a little bit as he tries to gather himself.
You'll see the weak side help. You get help by Searcy, but nobody boxed out Kirk on the weak side. If you're going to rotate over, somebody's got to find a man. It's so important, especially the way that the Lobos go to the basket on the offensive board.
First free throw for Hardiman is good. Junior from Valley, Texas. Season high, 16 points, 7 rebounds in a loss last week at Northern Iowa. New Mexico split at the tournament in Las Vegas. Steve Alford, and they dominated tempo in a big win against Colorado, and then UNI really slowed the pace. No fast break buckets of note in that game for the Lobos. That continued their last game against Texas Tech. Both of these teams want to get up and down if they can.
Well, the problem in that Texas Tech game, there's so many foul shots. It slowed the game down. No transition baskets. And that's what this Lobo team does. They get to the free throw line a lot. They're very physical. I mean, you look at these two teams on paper, they look like identical images because they're very athletic, good defensive teams that rebound.
So Drew Gordon in for the first time for New Mexico. And a newcomer for Dayton as well is Josh Benson.
You saw the rebounds right now in New Mexico. Out-rebounding Dayton, that is going to be the biggest key. Whoever wins the war on the boards should win this game.
Williams, as the Flyers still searching for the first points of the contest.
You didn't see this when Bobby Knight was coaching, but Steve Alford gets him into a zone out of bounds. And Wright, creasing on his NBA talent, hitting that outside jump shot. You didn't see many of those last year.
And not many this year, just his third in 16 attempts from beyond the arc, but it's key for Dayton, gets the Flyers on the board. Here comes Williams inside. Gordon with the floater, the transfer from UCLA, just his 5th game with the Lobos, continuing to grow by leaps and bounds.
You got to credit Williams, the freshman, who's a very, very smart player. Dribble penetration, getting good in that look.
Turn around for the baseline for Benson, no. Cleared by Gordon, and Williams brings it up court.
There's a lot of pro scouts here this afternoon watching Gooden and Chris Wright.
On the inside, going to be an offensive foul against Williams, a touch out of control.
His first foul, team's third.
Here comes another first-year player, Brandon Spearman, on the floor, freshman from Chicago, and he'll spell Paul Williams.
Spearman's the kind of kid that'll get up and down. He plays very hard on both ends of the court. Hit a big three-pointer against Mount St. Mary's, so he's not shy either.
Out of the powerhouse Simeon High School, won a state title last year, same high school as Chicago Bulls star, former Memphis standout Derrick Rose. Staten off the screen from Benson. Spearman leaves for Wright. He'll pull up from 16, front rim. Tapped out, Gary can't save. First team All Mountain West performer last year, All Defensive Team Selection 2. Gary,
checking in for the Flyers.
constant movement, but just not enough movement to save.
You'll see that hustle on the rebound. He's a little guy, but he gets in there and gets the boards, and you can tell no lack of effort by Gary.
5-point cushion here for the Lobos. And Josh Parker, redshirt junior, the transfer from Drake, sees action for the first time for the Flyers.
You have double figures of Drake. Need him to get going a little bit on their offensive end.
Wright trying for the steal, touches it out. It'll be Lobo basketball when we come back. Talked about the similarities for the teams. Senior stars and some fantastic freshmen. One of them, Alex Kirk, flying in for the Flyers.
Donato's is proud to serve the best pizza to the best basketball fans in the country.
College basketball on the CBS College Sports Network is brought to you by Sonic, America's Drive-In. By Bear Aspirin, take charge of your heart health at IamProHeart.com. And by Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Call Geico at 1-800-947-AUTO or visit Geico.com.
A Happy New Year greeting from Dayton here at UD Arena, New Mexico, from the Mountain West Conference, leading Dayton out of the Atlantic 10 by 5. Both of those conferences featured Wednesday night here on the CBS College Sports Network. Doubleheader. Atlantic 10, it's the Flyers in St. Louis at 8 o'clock Eastern, followed up by a Mountain West showdown between number 16 BYU and UNLV at 10 o'clock Eastern. And the Conoco Athlete of the Week from the Mountain West. How about Jimmer Fredette for the Cougars, off to an electric start again. Such a dynamic performer for the Cougars. And hey, look at the Mountain West so far. You got San Diego State in the top 10, BYU there at 16th, UNLV is solid, and then New Mexico's going, hey, wait a minute, don't forget about us. We've only won the last 2 regular season conference time.
They're 11-2. They lost 35 points and 15 rebounds per game from guys leaving to graduation, and they're still struggling a little for recognition. It's because they're so talented 1 through 10. There's only one player on New Mexico's team that has scored 20 points in a game, and that was Williams.
Darrington Hobson, Ramon Martinez, so big for the Lobos last year. 30-5, a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, getting to the second round before getting knocked out by Washington. This Dayton team missed the tournament, went on to win the NIT, so postseason experience there. But Hardiman continues to experience good things for the Lobos, and the lead is back to 7.
Well, let me tell you what, that was unbelievable defense. Really, Benson was right in his face. Hardiman just took it up over him.
The shooting woes for Dayton. 1 of 8 so far. Benson trying to change that, tough down the lane. Kavanaugh in for the first time with a 6'9" sophomore. Battling hard, foul here against New Mexico.
I think one area that Dayton really misses from last year's team, obviously London Warren, Rob Lowry, and those guys, Marcus Johnson, are gone, but the guy in the middle, Hillsman, played an unbelievable role for Brian Gregory. He was the go-to guy as far as setting picks and boxing out men and playing good defense. They're missing that right now in the early going here.
McDonald, long on the jumper, and the rebound to Parker. Johnson thought about it. Kavanaugh on the inside, can't get the lefty layup. Able to get the loose change. Parker for 3. Got it! Brian Gregory looking for improved 3-point shooting from the outside. And so far, all the points for the Flyers have come from beyond the arc. First for Wright, now for Parker.
But that play was made by the hustle underneath the basket by Kavanaugh and by Benson.
Now a foul on Kavanaugh as he tried to shadow Williams.
His first, team's 3rd.
You know, Jason, when you look at how to win games, especially when you're playing ugly, it's getting those offensive rebounds, or at least finding a way to get the ball back after a missed shot. And you'll see how hard everybody going to the basket to be able to get that rebound.
Well, McDonald threw one up as he knifed down the lane, almost went, and able to get to the free throw line.
Flyer foul on Matt Kavanaugh, his second.
Junior from Cypress, Texas. Elbow injury suffered in one of the early exhibition games for Steve Alford and the Lobos. Missed the first 3 regular season games of the year. And then has come back and scored double figures in his first 8 games after returning. That first free throw rattles out.
For Matt Kavanaugh.
You know, you talk about improvement from year to year. That's what Steve Alford and Brian Gregory both do. And with McDonald, in his first 2 years, he only led the team in rebounding 3 times. And so far in the first 13 games this year, he's led the team 4 times. So becoming more consistent, more well-rounded team player.
1 of 2 from the line. You see the shooting woes continue for Dayton. Just 2 of 12. Searcy returns on the interior for the Flyers. Parker had it partially blocked in the corner. Corden got it stuffed by Johnson, but got it back.
I still think, even though you're hitting the 3 now and again, you've got to get the ball in the paint.
Williams hanging, can't hit, but he will get to the free throw line. And this is similar theme to the meeting from last year, Steve. In that game, the Lobos shot 43 free throws compared to just 22 for the Flyers. And again, we've seen New Mexico's ability to get to the cup.
Yeah, they really do. I mean, it's amazing how many times they get to the free throw line. And I think that is indicative of their depth. They wear you down, but they also are aggressive getting to the basket. And this Williams kid, I think, is probably a big surprise to most, but not to the coaching staff. As a freshman, 12 points, shooting 61% from the 3. That's big time.
Paul Williams, Devin Oliver, both returning for Dayton. Hits the second free throw. The top scoring freshman among Mountain West players, and leading the conference 2 in 3-point shooting. Another newcomer to the game for New Mexico, Cameron Bairstow, freshman from Brisbane, Australia, in for the first time. But again, the depth of both of these teams showing early on. And it's tipped out by New Mexico. Dayton keeps possession. And Staten ready return for Brian Gregory. Such a highly regarded recruit out of Dayton. Spent his senior season in high school at Oak Hill Academy. And Staten has come in and led this offense from day one.
He's not as quick and he's not as tenacious on defense as Lowry and Lemon Warren, but he's very cerebral as far as running the game. I think he's going to be a very good player. One of the best in the A-10 for years to come.
McDonald on the drive, and another foul drawn by this attacking group of Lobos.
Well, if you're on defense, you have to make sure you stop the ball. New Mexico is getting too far in the paint, in transition, and also in their half court. You got to stop them out front.
Foul there on Oliver, that's his first. Number 6 as a team already for Dayton, so one more. And New Mexico will be shooting free throws the rest of the first half.
There you go. You'll see. There you go. No place to go. They got to hang on the rim to make sure you don't get hurt. Back in the day, we used to hang on the net, make sure that nobody get hurt.
Donald knocks down the second. 8-point lead for New Mexico. State so efficient the other night against George Mason. 16 points and 5 assists. One of the best games of his young Flyer career. So far, unable to get in rhythm. Now trying himself down the lane, and an offensive foul is called.
You talk about weak side help. Drew Gooden comes from the opposite end. You'll see Gary getting away on that pick, and Staten getting to the basket, and you'll see Gooden coming opposite way.
Tony Snell checks into the game for New Mexico for Philip McDonald.
Now Tony Snell coming into the game, replacing McDonald, and New Mexico doing it all right now, up 14-6.
Gordon just did a really nice job getting across that lane. And they're going to get him back on this one.
Called away from the ball on the inside.
You got to realize Gordon has not played. He's in good physical shape, but he's not in good basketball shape.
His first, team's 5th.
We talked about him transferring from the UCLA Bruins. Enrolled at New Mexico last spring, so eligible at the end of the fall semester this year, December 19th, but had knee surgery in October to repair a torn meniscus. So that's the thing that's slowing him down a little bit. Not quite at full speed yet, but looks pretty good at the defensive end as he shuts down right.
He doesn't move. He is like a mountain in there. He gets almost every rebound and every block shot. Can't imagine what Gordon's going to look like when he's in basketball shape.
Jordan, lefty turnaround, too strong. And the rebound pulled down by the freshman Oliver. Williams will try for 3. Another one not falling for the Flyers, and another alert rebound by New Mexico. That's Jamal Fenton, sophomore from Houston, into the game. And now gives up the ball to Williams. Snell, corner 3. Luke Fabricius can't control it, but tipped out by New Mexico.
There's timeout on the floor.
Now Dayton struggling shooting-wise here at home to start off 2011, but no problem so far for New Mexico. Flyer fans hoping for a turnaround. Lobos living it up so far, up 8. Back here at Dayton, folks at UD Arena trying to pep things up as the Flyers are trailing New Mexico at home 14-6. Let's take a look at the TaxSlayer.com stars of the week for New Mexico. Boy, Kendall Williams last week in Las Vegas against Colorado, double-double in his freshman season. And for the Flyers, but Matt Cavanaugh averages about 2 points a game, career high 15 along with 7 boards in a great showing at Seton Hall.
And right before that game, he sat in Brian Gregory's office, and Brian Gregory said, just relax. Take your time when you're getting the ball in the low block. And he did take his time and really was the key for that victory. And this afternoon, they need to get more of that inside play. They got to stick with their game plan. Get the ball in the paint. Don't rely on that three-point jump shot.
You see the 2-point field goals in this game. Dayton has none. 0 of 10. Both of their buckets have been threes, just shooting about 11% so far in the game. Now 2 of 17. Offensive foul there against New Mexico. Now the charge for Snell, so no bucket.
Tony Snell, his first, team 6th.
That's number 6 as a team on the Lobos.
That's Snell, a freshman, 6'7", bringing the ball down in transition. Got really, really deep into the paint, but good defense by the Flyers.
And New Mexico playing fantastic defense here against Dayton. This Lobo team, 7th in the nation in defending the 3. The team's only shooting 28% against them, but they're doing it in all facets right now.
Well, it's been said that Steve Alford is okay with you making a mistake now and again on offense. He does not tolerate that you're coming out if you do it on defense.
How about Bairstow tying it up inside? Yeah, the Sonic good advice for this game, Steve?
Yeah, I think I've been saying it all along. Your game is to get the ball inside. You have to take it to a good defensive team. They're getting some decent shots, but I don't think you need to rely on the 3. You have to continue getting the ball in the paint, and the shots are going to go. Those are good moves to the basket inside. That's where they need to go in order to compete with this Lobo team.
Now, while we're away, shot clock violation there against Dayton, so the struggles offensively continue.
We've said rebounding and defense were going to be the key, and so far the lead goes to New Mexico in both of those areas.
Trying to hold their own at the defensive end. Williams in traffic, forced to just fire it up. Bairstow flying in. No foul called and touched out by Dayton. The crowd liking neither of those goals.
Josh Benson checks in for Luke Fabrizius.
You see a lot of Dayton Flyers around the basket. Not able to corral the errant shot by Williams. 3 guys going after it, just not able to stick a fork in it.
Staten hit the deck, and that's why the Flyer fans were upset. And no whistle was there. Hardiman, another offensive foul called against New Mexico.
I guarantee you, at that last timeout, Brian Gregory said, listen, they're getting to the basket too easily. If somebody doesn't step up and taking you out, and right here, you'll see the great step up in the lane by Benson.
Chad Adams checks in for
in the mental aspect of the game, Jason, if you go in the lane and you get an offensive foul, the next time you drive in there, you're not as apt to take it up. You feel a little awkward. It's a great defensive strategy.
Well, college basketball on the CBS College Sports Network, presented by 5 Hour Energy, starting here in 2011 at UD Arena in Dayton. Jason Epp, along with a former captain at Xavier, Steve Wolf. Glad to have you with us. Dayton and New Mexico, Atlantic 10 versus the Mountain West. And the first 2-point bucket of the game for Dayton comes 10.5 minutes in almost. Nearly 10 minutes in by Williams. Off the glass and good. New Mexico getting to the free throw line for some points. Both of these teams with solid defense to hold each other in check.
Basket by Chad Adams.
And now Chad Adams into the game for the first time. Gets 2 for New Mexico. At the other end, triple time for Chris Johnson.
The great drive by Williams led to that open jump shot by Johnson. Continue getting inside, you'll have that outside shot.
And the crowd starting to perk up here in Dayton. And now lost out of bounds by Fenton. Dayton basketball. And this Dayton squad is not a super 3-point shooting team, but the 3-3 so far are getting them closer.
But you'll see right here, Williams getting to the basket, going 1-on-2 and able to take it strong. really, they're not playing very good offense, and to be in the game only down by 5 is a testament to their defense.
Here's Johnson. And that last triple watched by McDonald. Spearman back in for the Flyers. Dayton trying to drive and create as it poked away. Out of bounds, will stay at this end. You know, Dayton going to see a whale of great guards when he gets into Atlantic 10 play, but the last 2 games took on 2 veterans, Andre Cornelius of George Mason and now Darius Gary here for the most part against New Mexico.
He is really, like you said, baptism by fire, and he's doing a nice job, but they got to realize the shot clock is at 3. And he does.
Dayton got the rim, but no go through the hoop. Quickly at the other end, McDonald can't get it to go. Second chance put in. Gary on the follow-up and a timeout by Brian Gregory.
Flyers.
Brian Gregory talks about pick sixes. When you give up a turnover, a quick shot allows the team to go the other way, and the squad just gave up one right there.
That's senior leadership by Gary in transition, getting the ball out very quick, and watch his quick pass in the lane, getting it to McDonald. McDonald athletic, taking to the basket. But you got to understand, once a guy gives up the ball, you still don't lose him. Dayton lost Gary on that, and he got the stick back.
Yeah, Johnson had pretty good defense there on the initial chance by McDonald, but nobody collected Gary. Well, join us Tuesday night on the CBS College Sports Network. Women's college basketball, 12-2, number 17 St. John's in Louisville at the new Yum Center to take on 11-5 Louisville. Tip-off set for 7 o'clock Eastern on the CBS College Sports Network.
They got it handed to them yesterday by UK. Man, Calipari's got them retooled once again, but Steve Lavin and St. John's, they're like 8-2. Playing pretty well.
Certainly are.
They lost to Fordham, though. How about Fordham? The A-10 looks really, really a lot of parity this year throughout the A-10.
Now Staten. Now Johnson. A motion here for Dayton. Allows Staten to get the jumper, but can't convert. And now maybe a frustration foul by Spearman on Gary as he surged down the court.
5 fouls on Brandon Spearman, his second.
That's the second on Spearman, number 8 now on Dayton.
And Josh Parker check in.
So trips to the line coming up for Gary.
You know, when you look at those statistics you see on the years, Dayton shooting 40%, only shooting 19 right now. Those statistics will come back into play, but you have to make sure you stick with that game plan.
First one is good for Gary. Such a great showing in the NCAA tournament last year, career high 25, including a losing effort in that game. The Lobos were knocked out against Washington. And the top 20 scoring all-time at New Mexico. And a history of great players in this power program. The lead back to 9. Staten driving, scoring. Hold on. Offensive foul. Now both teams getting great position defensively, leading to a lot of charge calls in this game. Staten thought he had his first 2, instead the other way. And the Lobos continue to lead.
Thanks to the least famous recipe at Arby's Restaurants for their support on University of Dayton Athletics.
9-point lead for New Mexico here on the road at Dayton. Flyer fans hungry for anything right now, including more points, maybe a little food as well to help the belly. Here's a look at the 5-Hour Energy Stack Pack. And the numbers still rather ugly for Dayton shooting-wise. Just 4 of 21 from the floor. And the points in the paint have been a big factor for the Lobos.
You're right, and also the free throw line has been a big deal for New Mexico. Dayton already has 9 fouls called against them with 8 minutes to go in this first half.
And no free throw attempts yet for the Flyers. That will change. They're in a 1-and-1 situation now. 9 fouls, as Steve mentioned, on Dayton, 7 against the Lobo. Kirk open for the baseline, missed it. And Johnson up on the baseline, fouled by McDonald.
I think Dayton in the last 5 minutes has done a great job defensively, but also has done a nice job boxing out and making sure that the Lobos don't get second chances.
That's number 2 on McDonald. And as we alluded to, both teams shooting free throws the rest of the way. So Johnson now at the line of the 1-and-1.
Kendall Williams checks in for Philip McDonald.
And Kendall Williams comes in. McDonald with those 2 fouls will head to the bench. Johnson, the most outstanding player of the 2010 NIT. Able to can the first, and again, he's over 90% from the stripe this year.
He's done a great job getting better every year and throughout the year, and he was the most improved player in the A-10 last year too. Just really nice job being consistent. He's got such a long wingspan. He can rebound and play defense, but his offensive game has really picked up.
Second one stays out. It's such a great push for Dayton in the NIT after things ended disappointingly in front of us during the Atlantic 10 tournament last year. They lost to Xavier on a tough technical foul call at the end of the game. It cost them possession as Kirk hits it, but they responded with such an electric run to pick up the 3rd NIT title in school history. Johnson lost his footing, still able to kick it out, and Williams comes up with a 3.
That was a mistake that could have been a turnover and turns into a great 3-point jump shot.
The other end, another triple launched by Gary, the rebound by Williams. A save from Parker to keep it alive.
You know, New Mexico, they don't want to get up in the running down game with Dayton at home. Dayton gets his crowd behind him. It's all over.
Fabrizius for 3. Back iron. One of the top 3-point shooters trying to find his form after an injury earlier this year. That's a held basketball possession arrow. Favors New Mexico.
You know, I think New Mexico, the way they're playing smart in their half court. You don't want to come down and have a quick shot. You don't want to get Dayton another chance at the basket. They're not shooting the ball well. Keep them on the defensive end as long as you can.
Well, Dayton has 5 buckets in this game. 4 threes and 1 2-pointer. They're shooting 44% from beyond the arc, and half of that, 22% from inside the arc, and overall. Somehow they're still within striking distance. It's a 7-point game. Fenton down the lane. Searcy with the rebound. And the outlet. Dayton has numbers. Right. No. Tipped by Johnson. No. Another chance. Out of bounds. Dayton will keep it.
He looked like Gumby around the basket. His arms are so long. You'll see this beautiful move by Chris Wright to the basket. Takes it right on Kirk. I don't know how he got it up and under. And then you'll see Johnson just tipping it 3 and 4 times. Quick hops. Good hustle on the offensive board.
And blocking foul going to be called.
Gonna get Gordon on that, trying to get over there, not quick enough.
Number 32, Drew Gordon.
It's like running into a house.
Chad Adams checks
That's the
in
second
for
on
Jamal
Gordon.
Fenton.
Adams returning for Fenton for New Mexico.
Chris right at the line.
Each
For the
team now
Flyers,
with
shooting
9
1-1.
fouls in the half. We talked about the depth for both. Looks like it may be challenged in this game with foul issues lingering for both.
Well, if Dayton can make their free throws, they're back in the game. They're only down by 7 points, and now being in the bonus, that is where New Mexico got their lead, is at the foul line. I mean, it's not like they're tearing it up offensively either.
Dayton just 1 of 3 from the stripe in this game. Did get the ball back after the miss. Williams. The kick out. Corner look. Got it. That's Parker for 3. Triple number 5 for the Flyers. They had 6 in the first half against George Mason in the last game that kind of got them going in that contest and doing it again from long range.
Well, the key here right now is Paul Williams. He's doing an excellent job, and along with Chris Johnson, driving to the basket, pulling in the defenders, and then kicking it out. Those are wide open threes. And you know, Jason, when you're shooting your jump shot, it's so easy to be able to shoot a wide open jump shot from the wing, depending where the ball was passed out. You'll see when you hit that jump shot, Parker wide open, squaring up. He had, you know, a second to get that shot off.
2 of 3 from long range is Josh Parker. Really getting to come into the forefront now after sitting and watching last year. Under transfer rules, had to sit out after coming over from Drake. And a little pressure too. You see Staten come in at one of those guard spots and play right away, so trying to show his worth in doing so far this afternoon.
Brian Gregory, as a point guard himself, develops point guards. He did a great job with the Jet, the Jacksonville Jet, London Warren, and also Rob Lowry. Now he has 2 good ones. And I think the Staten, like I said, is going to be one of the best players in the A-10 for years to come.
Well, there is the first 3 in 3 attempts for the Lobos. Williams able to knock it down from the corner. Now Williams at the other end. Paul for the Flyers to Johnson. Parker will try it again. Missed the rim, got the backboard, and an easy rebound for Williams and the Lobos. Gary thought about it. Now Williams watched by Parker. Out of Rancho Cucamonga, California. Williams highly regarded, and there is a long-distance jumper for Chad Adams.
You're talking about depth. He's probably the 9th or 10th player on the team, coming in there and giving business. Get to the basket, it's a jumper.
At the other end, Johnson responds with another triple. And the 3 balls continue to fly in for Dayton. Again, 7 field goals of the game, 6 of them have been threes. Kirk, he's got range and knocks it down, the 6'11 freshman. Hey, Steve, you might want to just go out there and try it from deep. You're going to make it.
I'll tell you what, it looks a lot bigger. The basket looks a lot bigger from beyond that arc than it does inside the paint.
Kirk, his 6th 3 of the year, now off the turnover. Gary, lob, thrown down by Gordon.
Basket by Drew Gordon.
You gotta love the mustard on that by Gordon, but I love the pass by Gary. He anticipated the steal and then made the play at the other end. That's senior leadership.
New Mexico at its best in transition, and suddenly the lead, which had been cut down to 4, suddenly elongated back to a dozen.
This is a time that Parker's got to take over and get these guys under control.
Step back 3. Off the rim, rebound by Adams.
And just your call of that tells you it wasn't a good shot. You know, in the flow of the offense, you don't need a step back 3. You need to get to the heart of the defense.
Kirk, entry pass, Gordon, little turnaround, no. And the rebound hops to right. Right, attacking. Gets to the rim, gets 2, and that's the first time we've seen the real Chris Wright, if you will, in this game.
And that's the first time he's had single-man coverage. He has Gordon on him, who's a lot bigger. Gordon at 6'9", 6'10".
Timeout on the
But I'll tell you, Gordon is one of the most athletic players, not only in the Mountain West, but in the country.
Feeling better after knee surgery in October. Knee looks pretty good. So do the Lobos. Up big here on the road at Dayton.
Courtesy of Stafford Jewelers, and if he makes the free throw, he'll win half a carat diamond earrings. Now, Bruce, do you want to upgrade your shot. No. All right, he's good. Do you look like he's ready, Mr. Stafford? All right, head to free throw line there, Bruce.
Bruce puts it up. Oh, just missed. Thanks for participating there, Bruce. And thanks again to Stafford Jewelers. Stafford Jewelers would like to wish the Flyer faithful a happy new year. If you're looking for some extra cash
To start the new year, bring in your unwanted gold or silver jewelry to Stafford to receive a free gas card, plus an extra 10% on any payout. Stafford Jewelers, the official jeweler of the Dayton Flyers.
Hands on it.
Well, the highest Flyers in this game so far have been from New Mexico. Lobos leading by 10 on the road here at Dayton. Time for the Burger King breakdown. Let's see how these guys had it their way on these plays. Steve?
You know, Jason, you'll see right here is you'll see Gary getting around Williams. Go ahead, let it go. And then he'll beat his man. Stop right there. And then this area right here, somebody's going to have to step up. Let it go. They come in there and you'll see, stop right there. You'll see Chris Wright coming all the way over from this area and able to deflect the ball and save the day for the Dayton Flyers. So important, the weak side help. And you'll see on this out of bounds play, you'll see right here, that's Chris Wright. Go ahead, let it go. You'll see him stop right there. He moves his man over and takes over and has weak side help. It is so important when you're playing half court against a good team that passes the ball well to have good weak side defense.
You look at Wright's numbers overall. Rebounds and blocks are there. But again, as you touched on, Steve, not really able to get free, and he's going to see that the rest of college career, a lot of double teams on the floor.
But you're not going to see the depth inside. Not great players, but 4 big men inside that can stop defenders from driving to the basket.
Kirk again for 3, and that one missed. Parker on the pushback. Williams wheeling. Parker. Little step back jumper is all net. Sweet touch for the redshirt junior at 18-point outings against Ole Miss and Florida A&M earlier this year, and is continuing to work on his point total in this game. Now has 8.
Parker really has been a difference maker in this first half, running the point, but also giving them offense from that point.
Williams lost it, got it back, and the Lobos reset. This is Snell, watched by Oliver. Oliver, great defense. Snell got trapped. And Parker on the push. Fabrizius, another 3-point shooter back into the game, but Williams lost it underneath and then committed the foul. Well, coming up on AT&T at the half from our New York studios, Adam Zucker standing by with a special look at the history of this famous UD Arena site for the day's game. Plus, we'll talk about the first 4 coming here to Dayton in March. Also have the stats highlights of our first half, all coming up on the AT&T at the half. Brian Gregory watching his team make a couple of runs to whittle down this Lobo lead. New Mexico converting again from the line. Snow made the first as Fenton returns.
You know, if you look at these two teams, Brian Gregory's changed his substitution philosophy. In the past, it looked like a hockey game, guys in and guys out. Now, he's staying with set lineups and rotations. New Mexico's got people coming in, coming out. A lot of depth on both teams.
Dayton picking up a little bit shooting-wise, started 4 of 21. They made 5 of their last 10 have the Flyers.